Hey, welcome to another great episode here at the Pastor's Pantry Cooking School. I'm your host, Chef Sam Peters. Good to have you with us. As we do absolutely every episode, we always share with folks the gospel of good taste, the two things that Joyce and I are very passionate about. The first, that we believe everything's about stewardship. We believe that because James 1:17 says that every good and perfect gift is given to us by God, and we know that food is a gift. Some farmer worked really hard to get that to your table. We want to teach you some things about food that'll help you make every dining experience great. The second thing we're passionate about is we believe God created us to be in community with one another. We believe that because Jesus believed that. He was constantly sitting down eating with people, sitting around the table, building up relationships. In fact, he did so much the Pharisees accused him of being a glutton and a drunkard. We believe that food is a great metaphor for community. So we want to try to help you enhance the dining experience at your house, so that when you invite family and friends around the table, it becomes a sacred place and a sacred time. What we're making for you today is actually one of the most requested recipes we get here. I'm semi-famous for my buttermilk biscuits. We have folks that will come to breakfast class after breakfast class just to learn how to make great biscuits. So we want to teach you the secret to making a great biscuit. But it's not just any biscuit today. We're doing jalapeno cheddar biscuits. So what I have here is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're also going to need for this recipe 6 teaspoons of baking powder. We need 1/3 teaspoon baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 tablespoons of butter, 1 1/2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, 3/4 cups of chilled buttermilk, 1 jalapeno diced, and 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. So what we're going to do first is put all of our dry ingredients here in the bowl. So to our 3 cups of flour, we're going to add in our baking powder, our baking soda, and our salt. Now you can put this through a sifter if you want. I usually just throw it all in a bowl, take my whisk, make sure it's all well incorporated. And then the next thing that you need to really kind of help keep your biscuits nice and flaky is fat, believe it or not. We're kind of mixing this up between butter and vegetable shortening. If you wanted to use all shortening or all butter, feel free to do that, okay? But the bottom line is you're going to need about 3 tablespoons of some kind of fat. So we've got a little bit of chilled butter, don't want it melted, and we've got a little bit of vegetable shortening. And all we want to do now is just mix this together with our hands. Go in there and just kind of smash that shortening and that butter between your fingers with the flour. We want to incorporate that throughout the flour. Now you can cut it in there too. Sometimes we've done it before in a bowl. We'll use a pastry cutter and chop that in there. But I have been making these biscuits this way, my goodness gracious, probably 40 years. And there's just something about the feel. I'm going for a certain feel. And I think maybe that's one of the areas where, people that eventually figure out how to make good biscuits, you eventually figure out what it feels like to be done properly. And what we're going for is we want flour that sticks together a little bit like wet sand. Okay, that's the texture you want. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. But I'm just taking my fingers and I'm pulling some flour in and I'm working that butter and that vegetable shortening into the dough. Just keep working it. Find yourself a few little chunks and smash them between your finger and thumb. Work that flour in there. And it's okay if you have a few chunks here and there. Don't worry if you don't catch them all, but just try to get that worked in. It's the fat actually that, again, makes that biscuit so flaky. So just keep working that in. And what we're looking for is that kind of a wet texture, or wet sand texture. See that? Have I got that? You got me there, Joyce? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's what we're going for, where it'll kind of stick together like that. So once we have all of that, I'm just sort of going to make a little well. Oop, found another little piece of butter there. Okay. Make a little well, and we're going to pour in our buttermilk. Now this butter, or this batter that we're making, the dough, is a fairly wet dough, okay? So once I mix it together, if I feel it's too wet, I'll add a little bit more flour. And if I feel it's too dry, I'll add a little bit more milk. Now what I tend to do is to go a little on the dry side to start, because I can always add more of that to it. And I'm definitely going to need some more buttermilk here. Let me add some more of that. Add another 1/4 cup. So we're up to about a cup of buttermilk at this point. And I'm waiting to add my other 2 ingredients because I need to know the feel of this dough. That's the critical part. Okay, we'll do another little splash. Again, I know this is going to be a fairly moist dough when we turn it out. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Just pretty much have it where I want it. Now I'm going to add to that our jalapeno. Get all those out of there. I want to invite everybody to the party. And we're going to mix in our cheddar cheese. Again, about a cup of shredded cheddar. We like sharp cheddar. If you want to do mild, you just paint your little happy tree and happy cloud wherever you want. That's totally fine with us. We like sharp. Okay? So again, I'm going to mix that together in our dough. And Joyce, I think now that I put that in there, I need a little bit more milk. Put in all those other ingredients. Need a little bit more milk with it. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of flour out here on my board. Oh yeah, the dough feels great. And then I'm going to put a little bit more here on top and on my hands. Okay, now one of the areas where people really mess up on biscuits is they overwork it. Okay, again, we're not making a loaf of bread, we're making flaky biscuits, so it's a little different. So you don't want to overwork it too much. About maybe 7 times is how many times we're going to fold it over. So there's 1, there's 2, and I'm trying to kind of get it in disc as well. There's 3. 4, 5. Turn it over doesn't count. 6 and 7. We'll just go with 7. That looks pretty good. I want to try and get this shaped in a disc. Again, we don't want to overwork the dough. The more you work the dough, the tougher the biscuit gets. And so if you've ever had hockey puck biscuits, that's where it came from. Joyce is my sous chef and producer, and she's back there helping me out with those carrots. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm pressing this out to about 1 inch thickness. And they'll almost double in size. We should get a biscuit that's about 2 inches or so. Somewhere close to that. And I'm using Grandma's old-fashioned biscuit cutter. At least this is what my grandma used. It was just a tin can with a hole poked in the top of it to let the air out. So when you make your biscuits, you want to press your can straight down in. Don't twist. When you twist, it tends to seal the edges of the biscuit and it keeps them from rising all the way. So if you want a high-rising biscuit, a couple of things I want to tell you to do. Go straight down with your can, and then we're going to put them in a 450-degree oven on a pizza stone, which gives them a nice crispy bottom, and we're going to push them against one another, okay? By pushing them against one another, again, it makes them rise up instead of out, all right? So put them in tight against one another and put them on a pizza stone. Again, go straight down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, This will make about 8, maybe 9. All right. Now we're just going to take our scraps, put those back together. And again, we don't want to overwork those. Just fold it over a couple of times. Every time I fold it over, I'm making another layer in the biscuit. Okay? Press it out about as flat as the others. And I think I'm going to get one more out of there, Joyce. The ones that you start getting at the end, those are the biscuits that you give to the dog. Or the chef, either way. We can call it the chef's portion if you want. But this piece is the one you usually make for the dog. I just sort of press it together like you would a cat head biscuit. It's a little smaller than everybody else, but we're going to go ahead and bake it up because it's just good to eat right there. All right, so what do we get out of that? We got about 8, 9, 10. We got 11. Got a lot out of that. So we're going to put these again in a 450-degree oven on a pizza stone for about 15 to 18 minutes till they're golden brown on top, and then they'll be ready to take out. We'll show you what they look like when we get back. Hey, welcome back. We are going to plate all of the great food we've been making today. We've got several little individual episodes out there to watch. We wanted to kind of pull it all together for you here at the end. We're doing some beef filet tips and noodles. We did some filet mignon. We just took the tips and pieces off of that as you trim those out, and we braised those and we put those together. We also did some glazed carrots today with ginger ale. And so we made a great dish with that. And then we made a jalapeno and cheddar cheese biscuit. Then we have a jalapeno biscuit. I'll take that one there. So you can see how nice and large that got. I don't know what camera we're on that camera right there. Turned out fantastic, okay? There's the dish. I'm anxious to try it. I want to try this biscuit. So I'm going to tear this open for you here. Look how flaky, delicious. I'm telling you what. I love it. Cheesy jalapeno biscuits. I mean, what's not to like? If you don't like the heat, you can leave that out of there, but I'm telling you what, that's fantastic. Listen, y'all, I hope you make this soon. Go out to our website, patterfamsauces.com. Go to the recipe tab. You'll find all the recipes out there. And then when you make it, do us a favor. Post a picture of it and tag us and put it out on our Facebook page so that we can brag about you. We want to brag about all these new recipes that you're making. That's fantastic. And then we also want to invite you all to go check out our brand new YouTube channel. We have our own YouTube channel for the Pastor's Pantry, okay? Or it's actually, sorry, the Pastor's Pantry - Sam Peters is what it's called. So go check that out and subscribe. We're going to be doing a contest soon. As soon as we get 100 subscribers, we're going to give away to 10 winners special prizes, okay? So go out and subscribe. When we hit 100, we're going to do a drawing. We're going to give away 10 prizes to those people who subscribe. Listen, go home, make this stuff, share it with your friends, share the gospel of good taste with others. Go out and have a blessed cooking day.